leader who inspires, who builds trust, and who leaves a lasting impact on the communities he serves. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. It's truly an honor to have you with us for this HR Forum program.
Unity in diversity. Strength lies in embracing the richness of differences, weaving a tapestry of inclusion. Good afternoon, one and all present here. I'm Annapurna, an MBA aspirant. So today we are talking about diversity and inclusion. Diversity is the differences between us. There is both visible diversity dimension and as well as invisible diversity dimensions. If I give myself as an example, you can see that I'm a brown woman, I may identify as a woman and I've got long hair. These are some of the visible diversity dimension. When talking about invisible diversity dimension, perhaps you may not know about my religion, my caste, my nationality, my culture, my customs, and my thoughts and beliefs. So when we put all that mix into it, that is diversity. And when we think about inclusion, inclusion is something, how we celebrate those differences, how we put everything together, that is known as inclusion. And there is a famous practitioner who is called as Varna Meyer. I believe that most of us have heard of her. She is a VP of Netflix for D&I. She puts diversity and inclusion in a way saying that we are inviting everyone to the party, that is diversity. Whereas inclusion is those who have been invited for the party, asking them to dance on the dance floor. So now let us hear from the other panelists their view on diversity and inclusion.
Yes, good afternoon to one and all. My name is Anna. I'm also an MBA aspirant. As our topic is diversity and inclusion, we know that India itself is a diversified country. We know our presidency itself, we have students from different states, we have students who believe different, everything will be different. We have came together for something potentially creating. So inclusion is how we will include those diversified people together and create a productivity. As we know that organization, everyone know about Google, right? Organizations like Google have a ERG, that is Employee Resource Group, where they create a network for providing opportunity for those unrecognized people like women, disabled people, LGBTQ community, etc. Also, recent study by Deloitte show that organizations which include inclusion culture into them has increased their employee efficiency up to 6 times more, which resulting in 20% of increase in their productivity.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. My name is Safia Anam and I'm also an MBA aspirant. When you look at diversity and inclusion from an organization point of view, we can look at it as vertical and horizontal diversity and inclusion. When we look at horizontal diversity and inclusion, it talks about different individuals and employees at the same level in an organization. But when we look at vertical diversity and inclusion, it talks about employees and individuals at different levels in an organization hierarchy. So it's not only important to have people included into the organization, but we also have to give them an equal opportunity to grow in the organization, get to the leadership levels and advance in their careers. Let us learn from one of the examples of Accenture company, how they have implemented diversity and inclusion within their organization. So what Accenture has done is they have tried to implement people from different backgrounds irrespective of their gender, caste, color, etc. Some of the major challenges that Accenture has faced are they have lack of inclusiveness in their leadership roles. They have lack of diversity in their leadership roles, which has also somewhere hindered them from diversifying or including people from different backgrounds. Apart from this, there is also unconscious bias and there is also a very high employee turnover in the women and the other minority groups. Accenture has come up with some of the strategies, like they have targeted hiring and recruiting processes, and they have employee resource groups and mentorship programs and training programs to help women and other minority groups, and also to prepare the employees who are coming in as a diverse group to understand that sometimes people unconsciously do bias, and which creates microaggressions within the organization and kills the harmoniousness within there. So they are implementing all of this just to give everyone a chance. So according to Harvard Business Review report, it says that the women leader positions have increased from 24% to 30% in just 3 years. Apart from that, they have increased customer satisfaction because people from different backgrounds have different perspective and different thinking have come together. So they have found better more solutions for the modern problems we are having these days. Apart from that, they have also done very well in making profit as well, and they have given an equal chance. So we should all learn from them, and let us understand more about this topic from my fellow panelists.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm Madhumita. I'm also an MBA aspirant. So in today's dynamic landscape, diversity and inclusion are not just mere buzzwords, but they are powerful forces that are shaping the future of successful organization. On that note, my fellow panelists here have already discussed what diversity and inclusion is. I would like to start off with a small example on a case which is from Wipro. In 2016, they faced a problem where only 25% of their women workforce only 25% of their workforce were women. So this was considered an issue because it was considerably less when we compare it to other organizations. So in order to overcome this, they actually implemented certain policies and strategies and programs, which included targeted training programs. They revamped the interview panels, and they actually implemented flexible working hours for the organization. What did this result to? Women were able to, women were hired by 40% within just 2 years. Like there was an increase in women hiring in the organization within just 2 years, which went up to 40%. And not only this, they implemented programs such as Wipro Genie, which is a peer-to-peer connection for women. And they also implemented Mentor Connect, where they connected senior leaders with their junior employees for cross-cultural engagement. And by this, the employee engagement in the organization increased by 85% in the organization. And today, Wipro is boasting that they have 35% women in their organization as workforce. Since we are already talking about women empowerment over here, I would like to shed some light on how much employment is there in India. According to the World Bank's report of 2021, only 20.3% of women are employed. When compared to men, 79.7% are employed. We can see how much gap is there. And also there's 34% gap in their pay, gender pay gap, it is called gender pay gap. Men are paid higher and women are paid lesser by 34%. So there are certain policies and laws that are taken up by the organization, one of which includes equity pay law, which says that equal pay has to be given to the equal work done regardless of their gender or any other protected characteristics. There are more policies to be discussed. Let's see first what other panelists have to say about this.
Yes, Madhumita, I completely agree to your point that there should not be a gender pay gap. Irrespective of gender, even if it is men or women, there should be an equal opportunity for the employees. So based on their contribution, the organization has to reward them. And talking more about diversity and inclusion, the policies and the practices which create inclusion will make the employees feel that they are safe and they are welcome, they are valued and respected. So that is the most important thing, where the employee should feel safe to work in an organization, and even they should feel that their voice are heard in an organization. And I would like to highlight some of the importance of this diversity and inclusion in the workforce with a piece of statistic. Talking about innovation and creativity, according to Forbes, it shows that 45% are more likely to increase in innovation and creativity, which means that companies with diverse teams are more likely to come up with new ideas, new solutions to problems. It's around 45%. How many of you heard about Zomato? Yes, great. Most of all have heard about Zomato. It is an online food delivery platform and also a restaurant discovery platform. So Zomato, it is a very great example of to embrace diversity and inclusion to drive innovation and growth. The Zomato company started to break the stereotype stereotypes where before we used to believe that only men can drive the vehicles or only men are eligible to deliver the food, but the Zomato company have break the stereotypes and gave opportunity even to women to work in the work as a delivery partners to deliver food. As I'm a foodie, I keep ordering food in Zomato and Swiggy, so I see that most of the food delivered us by women, and I feel very happy to see that. And also coming to innovation, Zomato company has been inspired by the disability people, and they came up with a new idea, new innovation, and they introduced voice-based ordering and video on audio menus in the Zomato app, which does not only encourage the employees in an organization, but also it increases profit in the organization. And also, according to Gallup, it shows that there are 10% of LGBTQ plus individuals who has been in the workforce. And also, according to World Economic Forum, there are 25% of women who is in the leadership position. We have learned about we have got to know the importance of this diversity and inclusion in the workplace. So we may also have to face the challenges, and there should be some strategies, to implement this diversity and inclusion across the organization. So now let us hear from the other panelists.
Yes, as Madhumita and Annapurna say about the women and LGBTQ community, we know that nowadays women have been providing more opportunity. Exactly. For example, Kerala government have been increased, especially in techie based company, increased their women reservation seat up to 50%. Even though women is getting more opportunity, as Madhumita said that they have been gender pay discrimination. There are less payment compared to men. Also in India, 17% of people have been come across as LGBTQ community, and only 21% of organization have been providing opportunity for them. So for LGBTQ, we know that they have been fighting for their rights since the past 5 years. We have been seeing like that. Even though our government is not allowing for same sex, so some people have been migrating from here to other countries where they are allowed, and the productivity of our country is becoming reduced there. We know that in US, 8 billions of people have been recognized as LGBTQ. In that, 46% of them is facing unfair treatment from within the organization from their colleagues. In Malayalam, there is a film called Nyan Meri Kuti, where they portrayed what are all the things that transgender is faced inside the organization. So providing an equal opportunity is not only for men and women, also they include disabled people, LGBTQ community. So talent do not depend upon any gender or anything, it's inside a human, so we need to provide talent. And for organization, they have been following a culture for past decades, so suddenly changing it is also not possible. So they require to be gradually implementing the change. So there are certain challenges and certain policies and strategies to overcome those challenges. Now let's look at for that challenges. What are all those challenges in organization?
As my friend here has already highlighted the fact that you cannot achieve diversity and inclusion overnight, there are several challenges an organization faces. Like some of the major challenges an organization faces is unconscious bias. Sometimes you may not intend to do something or say something that might offend them, but you somewhere by mistake say it, which results to microaggressions. That is basically having aggressions within, like it's very small, maybe sometimes goes unnoticeable, but does create a lot of chaos within the organization, within the team or their fellow employees. So we can try to implement some strategies, like we can work over communication, and we can learn to build some good communication between each other so that we do not face this. Apart from this, another thing that would be highlighted would be resource constraints and expensive programs and mentorship programs that are supposed to be taken. Because we are implementing something that is new and we are calling people from different backgrounds, we need to educate people how to treat them, what might offend them, what might not offend them, and we need to also help them to understand that every time things will not be how we expect them to be. We need to be very careful and sensitive about what we are talking. So this all comes from training and mentorship programs. According to a study, 75% of the hiring recruitment managers have agreed that admitted to unbiased, unconscious bias. So sometimes it's not wanted, they do it without knowing. Apart from this, another major challenge people are facing would be resistance to change, because they believe that they are best in what they are doing. They do not have to move ahead with the world. That also hinders their growth as an organization.
Yeah, as Safia told, there are certain policies and strategies that organization can implement in order to foster diversity and inclusion. See, diversity is something like recruiting people from diverse backgrounds, race, religion, culture, etc. But inclusion is where the challenge lies. Giving them opportunity without any bias is the challenge for the organizations. So some of the policies that they can implement in the organizations are like mentorship and sponsorship programs. For example, Microsoft in 2018 implemented lead programs where they paired their senior leaders with their junior employees or freshers. So this actually was done to provide them guidance and opportunity for career growth in the organization. So by this, they actually enhance the employee engagement in the organization. They can also implement policies such as zero tolerance policy for discrimination, like the organization like tech startup Acme Innovations. They implemented discrimination, they prohibited discrimination for any kind of race, gender, sexual orientation, disabilities or any other protected characteristics. By this, they actually reduced the turnover rate by 15% in the organization, indicating there is a job satisfaction. So as we are coming to a conclusion that let us light the light of diversity and inclusion, and let us foster an environment where diversity is celebrated and inclusion is a norm, and the richness of human experiences flourishes. Thank you one and all.
Now I request for today's moderator to give his insights on the panel discussion.
Thank you very much. Very, I can say very hot topic, diversity and inclusion. Hearing from the young students, I can only conclude that the Indian businesses or Indian companies, their future is in safe hands. Okay. Because the way the students have articulated the subject in such a lucid manner, that more than the content and the substance, it is the way it has been put in, with a lot of passion, I can say, because the passion is very important, because with so much passion and so much inner feelings which have come out of these students, and I'm sure that these will go a long way in developing the students in years to come. In fact, I feel a little nostalgic coming to this hall, because almost a decade back I was here in the same hall. I had an interaction program with journalism and mass communication students, and at that time I was very much impressed by the students' insightful questions, the way they were thinking and the way they were triggering their thoughts in such a way that, to get more knowledge and but with more information, they at that time itself I was so much impressed with Presidency institutions, that they are for quality. Discussions which have these four students have done, it gives an insight on how the standard of the institutions itself, how the focused way the institution is trying to ensure that the level of students, their level of knowledge, as well as the level of competencies and the level of character building goes to a different level, so that they can, when they pass out of the portals of this institution, they can also emulate their great predecessors and achieve great things in life. I must congratulate, and a very big hand for the four students, great students who have done such a great job. Now coming to the subject, diversity and inclusion. This it pertains mostly to the equality. And equality of, I can say, in human race has been a dream for, I can say, from time immemorial, right from the Stone Ages, when the human endeavor was to make this world a better place to live. A lot of efforts have gone in to make this world a better place. And one of the important thing is the social equality, which is in a formal way started off during the great Greek philosophers who advocated equality. But somehow for next another, I can say another millennium, this was not given a thought by the human race. But the first way it came was during Magna Carta days, almost 800 years back in Britain, when equality was given some importance. Though equality in a very crude form, not in a very robust form what we have today. In a very crude form, some equality was enshrined in the unwritten constitution at that time during almost 800 years back. And subsequently, few more centuries, the Renaissance, the Reformation, Industrial Revolution, all these things brought people from different races, from different context into one places, and the development of cities and towns also started the same manner. Then came the great revolutions of 18th century, that is the American War of Independence and the French Revolution, which for the first time, in a written format, written constitutional format, the equality was given a greater importance. The equality of every human being, irrespective of caste, creed, and also gender and any other thing for that matter, any other discrimination for that matter, equality was given great importance. But still it was not practiced much. That also led to this great civil war in America to abolish slavery. I think now we are talking about equality of gender, but at that time equality of the human race itself was a big question mark at that time. So the American Revolution, the subsequent American Civil War in 1861 to 65, which resulted in abolition of slavery in most of the countries in the world, that led to a little more equal this thing. In fact, the framers of Indian Constitution have given great thought about this, and equality was actually brought in the preamble of the Constitution itself. Equality of status and opportunities. This is one of the fundamental, I can say, principle in the preamble itself. And then came the Article 16, which very clearly states equality of opportunities and no discrimination due to either gender, or race, or caste, creed, religion, or anything for that matter. Total abolition of all discrimination was enshrined in Article 16 of the Constitution. So I think after that one should have assumed that there is equality. But again, practically to become more equal is again a big, can say, a long way to go. And 75 years now, still we have some sort of discrimination, as the panelists they had given examples also, the different companies examples, the Wipro example of just 25%, or the other companies examples they were giving. As far as government is concerned, again the percentage of government employees, particularly the female employees to male employees, is still not very satisfactory. In fact, our department, the police force, or any military force, or the uniformed forces, percentage is very, very less. In fact, presently we have only about 7.5% of our force is consists of women. And although the government of Karnataka particularly has made it 25% reservation for women, but to get to 25% itself, it may take another 15 to 20 years, because the recruitment now which happens from 7% to come to 25%, it may take some more time. So towards that end, everybody is working now. In fact, earlier people were not seeing many women in police forces. In future, we will have minimum 25%, and then subsequently that can go up to 50%, because that is a minimum for recruitment. Anybody, the remaining 75%, anybody can compete. Even women also can compete, and one day we will have equal 50% of the police force will have 50%. So that is the bottom line I can say. But most important thing is this sense of equality is very important, because if there is any discrimination, particularly based on anything, either the gender or caste or religion or race or any other consideration, then that society or that I can say that company itself may not be very healthy, I can say, because you cannot get the best out of everybody, because since MBA students, you are all going to be business leaders in future, and your focus is to develop wealth maximization or to develop your companies in such a way that then they can compete with other companies and come up and the goals of the organizations have to be achieved. If you have to achieve the goals of the organization, then it's very important that the teamwork, everybody's contribution should be there. And for that is very important that one should have equal opportunities for every employee. And that's what our panelists today have highlighted. And I hope that this message will go in a big way. So I think here we have, at least in this hall today, there is a perfect harmony, I can say, and a perfect diversity and inclusion. And for that, I must compliment the professors and the principal here. And I hope that this message will definitely go a long way, and we will be able to have achieve this diversity and inclusion. And also, I was also asked to tell about civil service also, because I can see a lot of young people here, all youngsters, and everybody have dreams. And since we MBA students, generally their dreams will be to go to corporate world. But since I am from civil service, and I always get tempted whenever I see youngsters that give a thought for civil service also. That is also one, I can say, good career as far as young minds are concerned. A good career in either all India services or central services. So if you give a little thought about civil service also, particularly the knowledge of business administration and enterprise administration coming to the government will definitely help to bring a refreshing change in the way government departments function. So just give a thought about civil service also, participate in the competitive UPSC exams or even KPSC exams, and choose civil service also as a career. Either you can become IAS or IPS, IRS or IFS. There's so many, almost 26 services are there. I think you can give a thought about that. And definitely, as far as UPSC or civil services is concerned, 100% there is diversity and inclusion. Okay, so there is no, anybody can participate, anybody can come, and anybody can achieve great things in life. Though may not be financially, it will not be as rewarding compared to corporate world. It may not be, but you will get a lot of satisfaction by doing a lot of service to the nation, service to the community, service to the people. Okay, and at a very young age, if you are a district collector, the deputy commissioner of a district, or a superintendent of police of a district, you will be having about, you will be preparing policies and also administering almost 2 to 3 million people. Okay, at a very young age, say around 25 to 30 years of age. So that will give a great satisfaction for you. So just thought, I thought that since all young people are here, some thought should be given, and if somebody is interested, they can definitely participate in the competitive exams and choose a career in civil services. Thank you very much.